the Tableau desktop. What all will this course be? Obviously, the difficult level is at intermediate levels, which means some amount of data visualization should be known to you. Typically, if I were to compare it in terms of MS Excel, you should know how to be generating graphs, how to generate pivot tables and all. Of course, so you must have the following skill sets. User of the keyboard and mouse. Obviously, that's implicit for any course that you do. User knowledge of MS Word, MS Excel and MS PowerPoint. Yes, you will need MS Excel and MS Word, because when we create dashboards, when we create projects, when we create graphs and such things in the Tableau, you will find a certain level of similarity with MS Excel and MS Word. Understanding of different types of charts, types of visualizations, right? As I mentioned it earlier also, you will need some types of pie charts, line graphs, even scatter plots, followed by the candlesticks charts and all that we do. But okay, I'm not going to go into the candlestick types. Certainly you will need to know how to generate the pie charts and the bar charts for starters, and of course the line graphs. That said, what is the objective of this course? Well, participants should be able to implement the data visualization techniques. Now, when I say data visualization techniques, means you should be able to modulate across the data in manner by the virtue of which you should be able to show that modulation or those changes on graph on immediate and instantaneous basis. How does that happen? If I change the columns and rows, then corresponding changes in the graphs and the pie charts or the line graphs will be reflected. So those type of modulation in these prior knowledge of such techniques will be desired. As I mentioned that it is intermediate course, but certainly after you have gone through this course, you will be able to implement it rather smoothly. So what will you learn with this course? Again, data analytics for business data interpretation, business decision making. See, when I say business decision making, you use predictive modeling also for business decision making, and you use certain kinds of forecasting techniques also. Business visualization or data visualization techniques is also one such skill set that you ought to develop. And with that, so once you have the data visualization skill set, it becomes easier to understand and implement the necessary business decisions that you are going to make. So this course is important from this data analytics perspective as well. Followed by what are the course requirements or prerequisites. Like I mentioned earlier, you need to be knowing the word Excel, PowerPoint and keyboard mouse usage. But that's not the only requirement. You need to understand what are the different types of file types: XLS, XLSX, CSV text formats and SAS. In fact, .sav format also is desired and expected, but that might not essentially be needed, because out here most of the files that we'll be working on, they'll mostly be on XLS or XLSX or CSV format. Graphs and charts in MS Excel, yes, as I mentioned earlier also, in terms of data visualization techniques that we said that we'll need, you have to have the graphs and the charts knowledge in MS Excel. So when I say charts and graph knowledge in MS Excel, it doesn't essentially mean that okay, you just drew a graph and chart. No, you should also be able to work on the legend. You should also be able to work on the axis formattings, how to generate the trend line, the overall formatting of the graph. So it has to be a comprehensive package. It can't just be like, yes, you drew a random graph and then you are celebrating that, oh, I know how to build a graph or a chart. No. And yes, so that certain level of intermediate to advanced level of MS Excel skills are also expected in this, and that is part of your course requirement. Moving forward, who are the target students? Well, business analysts, of course, because they will be working on certain set of tasks. When you have a very big wholesome amount of data, there is a lot of business analysis that goes after the data is analyzed. So you'll be actually expected to write reports based on the data visualizations. That is very important for business analysts. Business managers, of course, because when you have multiple reports and multiple outputs, then you will be able to juggle as to which of the business decision should be prioritized and which business decision could be put on hold or altogether rejected in some cases based on the data visualizations or the the analysis that you generate. And obviously the data visualization services professionals. Now these services, they are fast becoming part of the business outsourcing process, because there is a lot of data that generally gets generated, be it sales data or be it financial markets data, and simply based on that data the visualization services can be provided. So like suppose there is an asset management company, as a case study if I put it in a very short description. There is an asset management company and they have their own in-house research, but they want to hire the services of some vendor who will provide them with data visualization services and things like that. So when we do that, there's a third-party service or a third-party vendor service that they are taking. So that those services are provided by data visualization professionals, who will take the data from a financial markets website, the freely data, public data available, provide the necessary and adequate analysis and the data visualization, and then those visualizations will be provided as a report to any asset management company or fund house or a brokerage firm, particularly on the financial markets front or financial markets domain sector. So what all do we expect of you to understand in terms of skill sets, and what all will you have learned as part of the once your course ends? Tableau desktop skills for data analytics and data visualization. Yes, that is important, and you all will learn it. When you speak of Tableau desktop, it is very menu intensive software, so menu driven, which means whilst we'll learn the different menus, we'll be going into the sub menus also when we go into the project levels. It's a wonderful software, and it makes for a very useful tool after MS Excel. The table of contents, what will be the first course? Well, it will be understanding the graphical user interface, which means in this case we understand the software features of Tableau desktop workspace, which are bulleted below. That is file, data, worksheet, then dashboard. We write a story, we conduct the analysis, maps, format, server, windows, help. So what will we be doing in case of files? Well, we'll understand what are the different types of file formats that the software is going to help us with first, followed by what is the data, which kind of data set are we set to import. And in the worksheet, we'll be seeing how do we merge the worksheet and how do we work with existing worksheet or copy it into another worksheet. There is a dashboard which will help us generate the entire, the dashboard will show us the entire data visualization aspects, particularly when it pertains to the data set that we take. And we'll also have story and analysis, followed by the maps and format and server, windows and help menu. So that is the first course. That will be followed by what? Connecting to the data sources. In this case, we connect to various types, file types, servers and data sources. And how you connect to servers. Now, when we speak of connecting to servers, we need to have a server in place, surely for that. And generally, for connection to servers, you need MS SQL knowledge, followed by creating views. This course helps us understand creation of views using drag and drop. So understanding creation of views, refining views for better data visualization, which means when you drop certain variables on the dashboard, then they will create certain kind of view. So that view that we will create or generate will, obviously the creation of the view will decide what you want. Like you should be thinking over it before you create a view, that what is it that you're looking for. It's fine. I mean, you might create an incorrect view also, and therefore we'll be having the refining views for better data visualization. This part will also be covered. So, but you need to understand what is it that you're looking for first before you go for creation of view. So some bit of prior understanding is necessary as to what type of view you intend to create. We'll be creating new dashboards. So creation of new dashboards for consolidating multiple data visualizations in one single dashboard for clear and effective representation, which means we'll have multiple dashboards for a single project. And then what is the target audience, as we discussed earlier also in the presentation slide. This is typically meant for data visualization service professionals, Tableau and IT developers. Now, IT developers and Tableau developers, they will need this, of course, followed by data sciences professionals and business analysts and managers, as we discussed in the presentation slide.